Sony has officially announced the PlayStation 5 Pro, featuring new graphical capabilities, some sick new lines on the sides of the console, and a $700 price tag. So of course, people have been very quick to bash the PlayStation 5 Pro, and although we can jump on the bandwagon of saying that the PlayStation 5 Pro costs more than a house, I thought we can just take a step back and actually give the PlayStation 5 Pro a chance and find out together if you should buy a PlayStation 5 Pro. With the announcement of the PlayStation 5 Pro, there are three main features that Sony is focusing on. First off, there's the upgraded GPU. If I'm being honest, I don't know too deep into the ins and outs of this type of technology. I am by no means a scientist, I barely know how to put my clothes on in the morning. But if I'm not mistaken, the idea behind the upgraded GPU is that they're basically trying to close the gap between the different graphic options that you have in games nowadays. The most recent example that I personally have experienced this with was Life is Strange True Colors. That game gives you the option of a fidelity mode which has basically overall better graphics but at 30 frames per second, or a performance mode which has sort of less impressive graphics but runs at 60 frames per second. And if you're like me and you're just the most indecisive person ever, it becomes a real challenge having to choose between, better looking graphics or smoother graphics. So ideally with the PlayStation 5 Pro, it'll bring us closer to not having to make that decision of fidelity or performance. The PS5 Pro also features advanced ray tracing. Now once again, with ray tracing, that's always been sort of a buzzword that I've heard that I've never personally really understood or cared about. I'm so sorry because I'm sure many of you out there know what ray tracing looks like or the benefits of ray tracing. Whenever I watch a video talking about this is what this game looks like with ray tracing on versus off, I always have a hard time really distinguishing which one is which. So I don't think I'm the person to ask about ray tracing, but basically with the advanced ray tracing in the PS5 Pro, you'll probably get better looking reflections and refractions at a much higher speed. Honestly, I sound like the biggest boomer when I say that I think games already look freaking amazing, so I don't know if, improving ray tracing will really be that big of a difference with the PS5 Pro. And the third of the big three features in the PS5 Pro, at least that Sony has talked about, is the AI-driven upscaling. They call it the PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, which I don't know, I just think is a really funny name. It reminds me of Apple products. It's like blast processing all over again. Anyway, the idea behind this PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution is that it actually uses AI to upscale or, make games look overall better, I guess, at a higher resolution. And so with that, along with the new PS5 Pro Game Boost, you'll ideally be able to play a bunch of PS4 or PS5 games now in up to 4K at 120 frames per second with all of the ray tracing and, all the goodies of new age games. The PlayStation 5 Pro now comes with a 2TB built-in SSD, so now you'll be able to install basically double the amount of games directly on your internal storage in your PS5 Pro, which is definitely a good thing now with video games becoming way bigger. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't talked more about the 2TB SSD because, with Xbox also releasing Xbox Series consoles with 2TB of storage, I feel like that could have helped maybe justify the price point of the PlayStation 5. And with that, we finally get to the elephant in the room, the price of the PlayStation 5 Pro. The PlayStation 5 Pro will be launching on November 7th, 2024 at $700. I mean, with the PlayStation 5 already being one of the most expensive consoles on the market, it is a tough pill to swallow seeing this PlayStation 5 Pro launching at $700. And the real kicker is that this is only the digital version of the PlayStation 5 Pro. If you want an actual disc edition of the PlayStation 5 Pro, you'll have to buy the disc drive separately, which Sony has been selling since the PlayStation 5 Slim consoles were announced. And even worse, at least at the time of this recording, people have gone crazy and bought all of the PlayStation 5 disc drives to the point where they are pretty much sold out. And of course, in case that wasn't enough, they also sell the vertical stand for the PlayStation 5 separately, which, they have been doing since the PlayStation 5 Slim. So overall, you are going to have to drop a pretty penny for the PlayStation 5 Pro, especially if you want a disc version. And for the most part, the PlayStation 5 Pro is sort of a mid-generation upgrade that is solely focused on graphics. Granted, there are some little updates like the 2TB internal SSD. They also updated the internal wireless connectivity to support Wi-Fi 7, but for the most part, the PS5 Pro seems to be focused on making the already great looking graphics even better. And if you're like me and you're already impressed with the PS5 graphics, hell, even the PS4 had some really great graphics. I feel like this PlayStation 5 Pro is more so a luxury for people who really like to nitpick graphics. So should you buy a PlayStation 5 Pro? Well, no. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of the PlayStation 5 Pro. Speaking of which, if you guys want to hear the story of how I got a PS5 Slim for less than $60, check out the video below. For now, thank you so much for watching. My name is Chase, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.